Well, good evening, everybody. My name, of course, as you know, is Ken Johnson, and this is Weather After Dark. What is Weather After Dark? Well, Weather After Dark is was just a name we came up with, but it's an opportunity for you to interact with me, for me to interact with you, for us to goof off. Last night we were doing a Sunday night edition of it, and Weatherman Cam leans back in this chair that I'm sitting in right here, and guess what? He has a tumble, and it was funny. So I'll have to admit it was funny. So a lot going on tonight. Of course, the college football national championship game is going on, and yeah, it's been mostly a one-sided affair. But Notre Dame is trying to mount a bit of a comeback here late. They just forced a turnover, and they're down by 16 at the moment. But we got that going on. Today is Dr. Martin Luther King. Today we recognize and celebrate Dr. King. And we also, of course, we officially have a new president now. So inauguration day today. So a lot of good stuff going on today here. It's cold here, and yes, I do know there's a game going on, Corey. I've got it on my phone right here. I'm watching it, so I can keep up with it. Believe me, I'm not going to miss a good old national championship game. So, in addition to that, we got a winter storm that's developing tonight. It's cold here in North Texas, but the good news is, at least for us here in North Texas, no snow this go round for us. Now, I bet there were some flurries out there tonight. I bet we have seen some flurries, or maybe even a little light snow shower or two in some areas. But yeah, a lot of dry air in the atmosphere is prohibiting that from really being the case. But yeah, we're actually about to start seeing precipitation, actually seeing some precipitation developing across the southeast part of Texas, which is going to be our winter storm. And if you will give me just a moment here, I can probably pull up some radar data here that we can look at. So give me just a second here while I do that, and we're going to talk about this winter storm down to the south. I should have done this before I signed on to do my lives here, but anyway, it looks like Notre Dame did just force a turnover there. Well, I hope you guys have had a great Monday. It was a holiday for some. Well, I mean, people for holiday for all, but it was an off day of work for some, for a good many of us. And of course, that's always a good day, a good thing, right? In addition to that, again, very, very cold. I got up this morning and, I went to the gym. That's what I did this morning. And then it's just so hard to really get motivated when you're in the middle of it being so cold outside. It's just hard to really want to go outside and do anything because it's just too cold. I just want to stay in bed, to be honest about it. So, um, but yeah, it certainly is. Certainly has been. The coldest temperature that we've seen so far here in Wichita Falls is 16 in this cold outbreak. But I think it's going to change tonight. I think we're going to wind up seeing our low tonight somewhere down there. Perhaps maybe 10, 15 degrees somewhere in that neighborhood. But again, this time no snow at least. But that's not going to be the case, I think, down to the south here. So give me a second. I'm trying to connect. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let me change my sources here a bit. All right, there we go. All right, so now we can talk. All right, so if you are living in southeast Texas, this is where the developing winter storm is. Let me pull up my Houston radar. So we're going to look down here, down around Lake Charles and New Orleans and Houston and those areas. That's where we're seeing the precipitation that's starting at this time. This is the developing winter storm here. Now, I don't. If you are watching me from the Houston area, tell me what kind of precipitation that you're seeing there. You may not be seeing anything yet. It may be too much dry air in place there as well. Um, but yeah, it looks like at least some type of precipitation is trying to be generated down there in southeast Texas. We'll probably see precipitation is trying to develop now. Of course, I've got some reports now for some people outside, flurries outside by former Ryder High School here in Northwest Texas. So let's go up here to the north here, and we can take a look here in Wichita Falls. And there are some little bands of light snow showers that are dropping southward. If you see this real light gray color here, it's just not really picking up anything heavy. It's picking up some really fine particles in the atmosphere. So there's probably some very small snow flurries. I know the kids might get excited, but no, nothing to get excited about here. This is not going to accumulate. Now, if we go a little further up to the way, I do see some brighter, but this is some bands of snow here. And these are probably some moderate bands. It's not going to last long, but the snow may come down pretty hard for a minute or two in Vernon here soon. So don't be surprised if you see that. Matter of fact, Weatherman Cam yesterday had snow showers in his forecast for this evening. We see these little snow flurries or snow shower like returns over here in the parts of Clay and Monte County. Then you go down into Dallas and notice this big hole over Fort Worth. Notice it looks like a donut hole. All right. So what the radar is doing is the radar it shoots a beam out. Okay. So the beam that's being shot out by the radar, it kind of shoots up like this, okay, in the atmosphere. So what happens is it's hitting this snow up higher in the atmosphere. It's hitting these returns, but as the moisture gets closer to the radar site, it's no longer hitting the higher returns aloft, and it's just indicating that the moisture is evaporating before it hits the Earth's surface. So while it looks like snow, it's probably not snowing in these areas, but there may be some snow flurries out there, maybe down there towards the south side of Dallas, and I do expect maybe a little snow to increase down in these areas here a little bit later on this evening some. But the main winter storm, again, is going to be down to the south, and I'm going to answer your questions in just a moment here. So we can go down south here, and you see these little what appears to be snow showers trying to increase down towards Waco. I know it's Waco, I know. And then you get down towards Houston, and you see some possible snow showers, sleet showers developing there. And to me, it looks like the biggest accumulating snow of this whole event is probably going to take place. It'll probably get going after midnight and into tomorrow, but I think the biggest snow could be into this area here. Wow, isn't that crazy? I mean, we're talking about, these are some of the places that, I used to go to when I lived in Mississippi. This is the bayou. I mean, the literal bayou, the swamps. This is New Orleans, and this area down here is one of the most humid places on planet Earth. And, it can get cold there, but they don't see winter weather very often. About once every probably 10 years, they'll get something, but it's usually sleet. But, in this case here, it's actually going to be some snow, and it could be heavy snow. So, yeah, isn't that crazy? It's just crazy. In fact, we can take a look here. Here's the satellite tonight. And what's happening is there's a disturbance, piece of energy that's moving through, northwest Texas, southwest. Like you almost see this little milky color. But then you get down to the south, and you're starting to see some brighter cloud tops starting to develop there. And there's your coastal storm developing really basically over the coastal sections of Texas or right over the Gulf of America there. So I guess that's what we're calling it now, right? The executive order has been placed. So I guess we're calling it Gulf of America now. But you're going to wind up seeing, I think, a lot of the heavier precipitation develop out in thunderstorms develop out over the Gulf of Mexico here. Now, there we go. I'm calling it Mexico. And it's just what we've always called it. And that's what theoretically it is. So, but anyway, you'll see thunderstorms developing out over the Gulf. And that heavier precipitation is going to make a move inland. And, like I say, after midnight tonight and into tomorrow, it's going to get going. Houston, Lafayette, New Orleans, south of Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, you might see a little bit, but not much. That's my old stomping ground. Maybe a little snow, Montgomery, Alabama, down to Mobile, Destin, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. Looks like you could see mostly snow. There's going to be some sleet in there too. Maybe snow, Albany, Georgia, down towards maybe even Charleston, South Carolina, and then could be some significant sleet or freezing rain there in north parts of Florida there. So I mean, it is certainly a very, very odd to see this happen. It isn't unheard of because it has happened in these areas before, but it just doesn't happen in these areas very often. Here's the latest HRRR computer model here. We're going to show that to you. If you take a look, it shows the precipitation starting off as rain, but that's not going to be the case. I think most of it's probably already in the form of sleet or snow, but if there is any rain in there, it'll quickly change over. But look at all that snow by by midnight and 12:30, trying to develop. Now, a lot of that initially is not going to reach the ground because it's going to take a while for it to all moisten up. But here's the latest. By 4 a.m., you can see a nearly solid patch of snow from near or just south of Austin down into the San Antonio area. Could be that could be sleet over here on the far western side of this. Could be sleet and some freezing rain there, but it looks like mostly snow in Houston. Here we are at 8 a.m. And with temperatures below freezing, it isn't going to take much to create problems. So kind of a mixture of sleet, snow in the Houston area, and it's going to be problems on those on the roadways. Here's one thing though that trends continue, and the trends continue to indicate that the heaviest snow here in this event along the Gulf Coast, either going to be out over the Gulf or right on the beach there in Louisiana and into New Orleans. You can see those blue colors. Lafayette, you should get some decent snowfall amounts out of this, but you might, and what dadgummit, Ohio State just blocked a field goal by Notre Dame, so that ended any chance for a score there after all that driving there. So look at those bright light blue colors, how they're just magnified there from New Orleans down towards what is it, Houma, Louisiana, and then over towards Destin, Florida, and then into the Tallahassee, getting heavy snow there. It just looks like that's going to be the case here. I mean, even into Charleston. I mean, and then that purple indicates freezing rain there in Gainesville, Florida, near Jacksonville. Maybe snow in Jacksonville. Isn't that nuts? That is crazy to see that. I know that my friends in Jackson are probably pretty depressed because it was certainly looking like, a few days ago that the Jackson area would get at least some accumulations, but the storm itself is just continuing to drift further and further south down into the Gulf, and then it's just not in a favorable position for the Jackson area to get any. I know I got my cousin and his daughter live there in far south Mississippi, right on the border of Louisiana and South Mississippi, and I know she's excited, wanting snow, and I still think she'll get some, but I don't know that it'll be just a whole lot. If we take a look at the accumulations down in those areas here, this shows this HRRR computer model showing the snowfall amounts accumulating here some. And, it's showing Lafayette between 4 and 5, about 5 inches or so in New Orleans. I wouldn't be surprised to see more than that, though. Actually, that is the NAM. I'm going to change this real fast. I'm going to change this to the HRRR computer model. It usually does a pretty good job, but sometimes it can be a little bit off. But I'm going to switch this to that. So give me just a second while I do this. And I know a lot of people on here probably don't care about, what's going on the Gulf Coast. But, I get kind of a little excited and giddy about these things because it's just rare to see, this kind of stuff into, this part of the country. I mean, I used to grow up. I used to go to Destin, Florida on my, beach vacation. I got married in Destin, actually. And to see winter precipitation down there, it's just nuts to see that much snowfall, in those areas here. So let me see if this is correct. I don't think so. No, that's not the correct one. Here it is. All right, so here's the HRRR, and it's showing those snowfall amounts. And as you can see in Texas, there's just not a lot accumulating there. I still think there's going to be perhaps maybe an inch in Houston or so, maybe a couple inches in Beaumont. Lafayette coming in at about 4.5 inches of snow. New Orleans between about 5 and 6, maybe some more south of there. Destin about 3 to 4, 4 to 5 there into Tallahassee and over towards Savannah and Charleston, South Carolina. Now these numbers may be a little bit underdone. It just depends on how these bands and how it all develops later tonight. If it winds up being a situation where that storm center continues to track further and further down in the Gulf, then you're going to see a pretty sharp cutoff between areas that get a lot of snow and areas that get no snow at all. So we can go back to the radar if we could. And up here into Northwest Texas again. And I bet you're seeing a pretty good little burst of snow in the Vernon area now. I bet you are. So I guess people don't care to hear about the winter storm on the Gulf because I've got 34 people watching me now. So, Kate, I'm just chilling. What about you? That echo is fun. Getting some small flakes and burning. I figured it may pick up here in a second. It looks on radar, looks like it's a pretty good little band moving through. So it may pick up in a second. Reed Timmer was saying Houston will see 12 inches. Well, that's Reed for you. Reed does that. I mean, that's just what he does. You know, listen, Reed's a good guy. He really is a good dude. I promise you he's a good guy. I've met Reed, and he knows who I am. I know who he is. He's a good guy. I'm not taking that away. So where's it on the sidewalks and grass at, Teresa? So I'm not taking that away from Reed at all. But, you know, Reed is a businessman. He makes his living on YouTube. That's where he used to be on TV, but now he does all YouTube and social media. That's where he's at. And yeah, I figured it was. So the thing about Reed is, you know, he's gonna scream and yell to you know, get you to watch him. That's what he's gonna do. But, you know, a lot of times these guys that do that, and again, they're trying to get you to watch them. That's what they're for. That's what they're there for. That's what they're trying to do. Because when you scream the loudest, what happens? You get heard, right? So, I mean, and that's just what they do. A lot of people like that on the social media. But you can see those little bands of snow. We'll probably continue to see at least a little bit of light snow over the next several hours, or snow showers or snow flurries. But yeah, I think a lot of that's going to go away pretty fast. Probably seeing some little snow flurries in the Lawton area now. You know, earlier today they issued what's called a snow squall warning for the Amarillo area. And the Weather Service issues those kind of like they do for like a severe thunderstorm. But the only difference is with these snow squalls, they come through and you go from 0 to nothing just like that. It'll be no snow at all. Then all of a sudden you'll get a bunch of snow, and it'll come down real hard, and visibilities will be reduced to nothing, and then it'll quit. So they issue snow squall warnings now. And there was some of that for the Amarillo area today. All right, so let's see here. On the north side of town by the expressway. So yeah, it won't last long. It'll go away pretty fast, but you are getting that little burst over there into the Vernon area. So Kate, I'm just chilling. What is it going to do in Lynchburg, Virginia? Melinda Massey asks. So it looks like to me that just really cold up there, that the bulk of the snow and the wintry stuff, you might get a little bit, but the bulk of it looks like it's going to be east of you. But I mean, we'll keep an eye on that for you there, Melinda. But that's just the way it looks right now, anyway. But Houston is not going to see 12 inches of snow, Corey. No, Houston's going to get maybe a couple of inches. Snow behind the stadium, so we're getting that report now. Is that snow in Vernon headed towards Wichita? No, it's dropping due south, so no, it's not. Anything we see, again, is going to be very light. We're not expecting much overnight tonight. It's going to be very, very light. But we do got some little bands coming in from the north there. It's moving from north to south. So, you know, I suppose that we could, you know, you can see some of that up towards Oklahoma City as well. So we could continue with off and on little light snow showers or snow flurries overnight tonight, but I don't expect much. And I suppose if you do get underneath one of these heavier bands that are dropping south, then you might pick up a dusting out of that. So you're actually seeing some of that. There's several bands coming in now from Hobart. And you have to also remember, too, that when it's super cold outside like it is right now, it's cold and it's dry, your snowfall ratios are way higher. So it doesn't take much in order for you to pick up a quick dusting to an inch. So, but, you know, actually, there's actually some decent little bands of snow from Vernon, you know, north up towards Frederick, and they're dropping south towards Snyder. So northwest Oklahoma, southwest Oklahoma, northwest Texas, the winter and all this here. Into the Wichita Falls area, anything we're seeing here, very, very light. But there might be some more stuff trying to come in later on tonight. And down towards Dallas, it looks like light snow is trying to get going. You still see that donut hole over the radar site. That still indicates that most of this is evaporating before it reaches the ground. But, you know, there might be some snow showing up there. Maybe on especially the south side of Dallas, and you jump down to the south here into the Houston area. And it looks like radar returns continue. And, you know, that's where your stuff's going to develop. And I think what's going to prevent Houston from seeing a bigger snow is the fact that, you know, the storm is just trying to develop near you or just south of you. It doesn't really get its act together until it gets east. And that heaviest band of precipitation will probably wind up being out over the northern Gulf. Whether you want to call it the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, that is up to you. Where is Cameron Lindsay? He's watching the game right now. I just turned it off, but he's a big Notre Dame fan. I'll ask him if he wants to jump on. Yeah, he's a big Notre Dame fan. So I doubt that he's going to want to jump on here. So, yeah, you need to be dripping your faucets right now, Andrea. So that's just, why is there an echo? Or I just hearing things? Do you guys hear an echo? Let me know if you do. I don't know where the echo would be coming from because I don't have anything. Cameron said he can't jump on right now because there's a chance that Notre Dame could still come back and that he doesn't want to slip up and say a dirty word while on here, which I don't blame him, because when I'm watching football and my team is playing and they're messing up, I say, ask my wife, I say some things that I don't need to say. So I don't know where the echo would be coming from, though. I really don't. I mean, there's nothing here as far as an audio source that would do that. So I don't know what's causing the echo here, guys. Hello. Check. Oh, I know where the audio is. I know where it's coming from. Oh, yes, I do know where that's coming from. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. All right, now I just got rid of it. Yeah. So yeah. Echo was talking about there was an echo coming through, but what happens is the feed that's coming through with the radar there, it was hooked up to my microphone, and there's a bit of a delay. So you were hearing that coming through on top of this. So that's what you were hearing there. I do apologize for that. So Jennifer says flurries over by Ryder. So it looks like there's 6 minutes left to go in the game here. Notre Dame is driving again, down by 16 points. I don't see Notre Dame coming back in this one, guys. Sorry. Yeah, it was, but like I say, Linda, I've corrected the issue, so we don't have that anymore. So you guys maybe wonder why I've been focusing on, the Gulf Coast and those kind of. Well, number one, there's a weather event taking place, a significant weather event, historical, to be honest about it. It could be in some of those areas. I kind of grew up in some of those areas too, but I'm working hard to increase my social media reach. I'm working. I've got a good reach on Facebook. Facebook's not an issue. The one that's been really, really difficult for me is YouTube, and that's the one I really want to crack into. A couple reasons is because you have a lot of people on these social media apps, such as TikTok and YouTube and all of course, TikTok, we don't know what the future is for that. We did lose it for a few minutes, but it's back now. So, there's a lot of bad information over there. And Cameron just typed in, he's having a bad night. Yeah, there's snow down around the Gulf of America up there, Daniel. So, but a lot of bad information. You hear me talking about it all the time. So, I'm trying to get on there and increase my reach to get better information, relevant information, so I can share with other people what I share with you here. So that's what I'm trying to do here. Is just trying to get better information out there. In this day and age, you've got to be on social media. If you're not, you are being left far behind. And there's a song. Yeah, there's a song out there. I forget the name of the group that sang that. Was it Live? Is the name of the band Live? I can't remember. So I don't know if talking. Yeah, I know it's a good snow in the Vernon area, but a good moderate snow band pushing through there right now. And like I say, there could be, I think at least for the next several hours, we could have a couple of these little waves of these snow flurries and snow showers coming in from the north. Believe it or not, we've seen lake effect. It's probably not going to happen, this go round, but we have seen lake effect snow in Texas before. I've seen it come off of like some of the bigger lakes in Texas. So I mean, it can happen for sure. But you can see the radar returns are there. Nothing major. But again, you look up towards Hobart and down to the south. Yeah, I think there could be just some, like off and on little bands of snow. And if you can get in one of these more consistent bands, you might even pick up a half inch of snow. You never know. It looks like some steady snow down there southeast of Dallas. I don't know if that's the case though, but that would be some good bands if that were the case. You still see the donut hole over the radar site, so it tells me a lot of that's not reaching the ground, but some of it probably is. And probably seeing some develop there in southern Louisiana now too. Weird to be talking about snow in southern Louisiana, but anyway, you do notice me trying to. And remember, if you guys hadn't followed me yet, um, if you haven't followed me yet on YouTube, please do so because, like I say, YouTube is the one I'm trying to grow on right now. Facebook's doing well. I just need to get the growth on YouTube. So it's just, I think it's just Ken Johnson weather. I think that's all it is. It's something lame, boring, something like that. I don't have anything catchy like Max Velocity or Ryan Hall, y'all. But it's just Ken Johnson weather, just plain and simple. That's all it is. So. All right. Well, it is about 9:44. Since it's a holiday and the game is on right now, and I'm kind of hot. I need to get dressed and get out of this. I'm gonna get off of here, jump off. But hey, you guys have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow here on Weather After Dark. I bet we can get weather